any sound more iconic to the electric guitar than fuzz? One could argue maybe other dirt effects like distortion or overdrive, but those are generally coming from amps. And when we're talking about pedals, one of the very first effect pedals was fuzz with the Maestro FC1 fuzz tone in the early 1960s. It was not actually the very first effect. The first effects were volume and tremolo effects that came about in the 1940s, and we'll be adding some tremolo to our fuzz here as well. Now, even if you've heard fuzz or played with fuzz and thought it's not right for you, you might want to rethink that because there's actually a lot of different styles of fuzz, and we're going to go over some of the differences in the tones and styles here. I'm going to start with my newest edition, the Dead Man Walking by Analogwise Pedals in Poland. This is a triple stage germanium fuzz that has quite a bit of range, and I'm not going to cover all the sounds it can do here, but we'll take a look at some of them. This fuzz has 4 knobs and a switch, which seems to be the magic formula for getting good range and versatility without overdoing it. Knobs control volume, gain, tone, and bias, and allow a range from a very subtle boost to a much richer velcro-like growl. But what I really love about this pedal is that it has amazing harmonics and a very smooth, warm tone. I'm going to start with my Telecaster in open D tuning, and I'm going to switch on the pedal's fat mode, which is like a doubler. It really thickens the sound. Because of the germanium, this pedal is very responsive to dynamics such as volume and tone settings in the guitar. So let's roll off the tone knob on the Telecaster and see how drastically the sound changes. More than just mellow grit. Here I'm going through the bridge pickup of my 12 string and the pedal's gain cranked up and fat mode turned off, and I get a searing wall of sound great for heavy shoegaze or post-rock. Up next is the DOD Carcosa, which has quite a cult following and with good reason. This pedal has a lot of versatility to the 4 knobs and a switch, which is essentially a bass cut to adjust the tone for certain amp sounds. But I'm not using any amps for these demos because I want the pure tones of the pedals to shine through, so I won't be using that switch. The Carcosa can provide a huge range of sound from a slightly warm, clean boost up to thick, velvety fuzz. And then if you crank the bias, the after knob, all the way up, you get this trippy, sputtering Tesla coil-like madness. Next up is the Behringer SF300 Super Fuzz, which contains 2 aggressive octave fuzz modes, as well as a clean boost mode, which is boring, so I'm not going to go over that here. Octave fuzz is a special effect that combines an octave effect along with the fuzzy saturated distortion you would normally expect, which gives a really thick, full, buzzy, or harmonic kind of feel. It's not a subtle effect, and aside from the cheap plastic housing, this fuzz sounds way cooler than it has any right to be based on its price tag. I'll be playing fuzz mode 1 with the middle pickup with my Stratocaster. There's another not-so-secret mode that people know about. This is basically a hack where you can place the switch between Fuzz 1 and Fuzz 2, and yes, it will actually combine elements of both sounds in this case. People call it Fuzz 1.5 or 1.5 mode. Let's see how awesome that sounds with the P90 neck pickup of my Dan Electro 12 string. Way Huge Pork Pickle is a combination of their pork loin, which is a British-style preamp pedal, and their green pickle, which is based on the Russian Big Muff. I'm not normally a muff fuzz fan, but this one sounds good, and I wanted to get a pedal specifically for bass guitar, which is what this was designed for. Way Huge included some blend and tone controls specifically to tailor it to bass, so let's see how that sounds. I was surprised to find that I like it as much, or possibly even more, for playing with my regular guitars. And as an added bonus, there's the pork side, which gives me a very retro-sounding, crunchy vibe. We've explored 4 rather varied fuzz effects, and they could be used to play a variety of genres and styles of music. But right now I really feel like showcasing the soulful nature of my new Dead Man Walking pedal, and I love how responsive it is to playing style and how gently or aggressive I attack the strings. So I'm going to use this to record a simple moody piece to showcase those things. I'm not even going to use a drum beat with this one, but to create a little movement and drive in space, I'm going to apply that oldest of guitar effects, the tremolo. I'm going to use the Walrus Mako Series M1 modulation pedal, and I'm going to set the tremolo at a fairly low rate and depth so it's not too distracting. Although I threw in some improvised variations. This was essentially a rhythm guitar track, so I'm going to overlay it with more of a lead melody. And I'll use the same settings, but roll off the gain slightly to reduce the murkiness and let the notes ring through a little more clearly. Finally, I did a little cleanup on the tracks in Ableton, pushing the rhythm slightly left and the lead slightly right to give a little separation in the mix. I also used the Fresh Air plugin by Slate Digital, which is a free tool that does awesome things for mastering. It reduces the murky, tin can-like sound that happens sometimes when recording. Maybe especially true this time since I didn't run through any amps. So, who won this war? In my book, they're all winners because I actually love all of these different types of fuzz for different reasons and for different purposes. I was originally planning on doing a giveaway of this Behringer SF300 Super Fuzz, which is about as inexpensive a pedal as you're ever going to find. But I just love it too much, so I'm keeping it and you're just going to have to buy it for yourself. But there's still a free pedal giveaway going on at my website, so be sure to check the link in the description to find out more about how you can enter that raffle. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video.